Welcome to Podcast Fandom Premium. I'm your host, Nina.
And I'm Donald.
And we are back to discuss the Uncanny Counter Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4, which dropped this past weekend. I have to say, when I watched this show last year, I did it just to have something to watch, a K-drama that I could watch that we weren't podcasting, just something that I could just, binge on my own and not have to wait for you or Kaylee to watch. And that very first episode, when Hana and all the counters are fighting what ends up being one of the main villains of the season, right? That very first fight where that first counter gets killed, right?
Right.
I remember thinking, wow, this fight choreography is good. And it was better than I think I was expecting. For some reason, I don't know. I was just surprised by how good it was. And just
this season is so much better.
Oh my God, that's what I was just gonna say. So that really kind of kept me in the show. I was like, oh, it's fun. It's fun to watch the fighting in this. Not as fun as watching those black folks beat on them rednecks on that riverfront. But that's for another podcast. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I am recording a podcast tomorrow with Leslie and Ceci where we're going to talk about the thriller on the river, the Montgomery Sweet Tea Party.
I don't even, I'll yes.
Oh, I will fill you in, honey. I will fill you in when we are done. Okay. It has been a crazy weekend, especially yesterday and today on the internet because of that. But anyway, but this season, man, it's so good. The fight choreography is so good. And in addition to that, what helps make it so good is that they really sell it. Everybody sells it. And it's not, typically what you see in action films and shows, sadly, even still now, right? We have two older folks, we have an older woman. I mean, they are kicking ass. And like I said, the actors really commit and sell it. And it's a lot of fun. I am just loving this season so far. What about you?
Yeah, I think that the action and all that, we talked about before, was that the sets, everything, and they put more money into this season with all of that. I will say the one thing, I didn't expect it to move this fast. I didn't expect us to have this many encounters with what we're assuming is the main villains of the season this fast. The one thing I remember from the first season is there was a lot of stuff going on. There was I don't think we saw the main villain fight our guys. There was a lot of mystery going on, and there was a lot of stuff with Moon and his school, and then the bullies there. There's a lot of growth in his character, so he had his own side story. Motok had his own side story, so there was a lot. So I'm kind of worried a little bit that I was I don't know how many. I'm assuming this season's 16 episodes.
No, it's 12. So it's 4
still
less.
Kind of a lot.
No, not really.
So I'm just curious,
you gotta trust the process,
right? And
you gotta trust it, because let me tell you something about K-dramas. What they don't do, they don't waste. Everything matters. Everybody matters. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, if you don't watch Vincenzo, Vincenzo. Am I saying it right? Yes. It's so good in that, characters. You watch the first episode and you think how you're gonna feel about characters, and that's just been my experience with K-dramas. There's no waste. So if they got a second season and they were we're going to do 12 instead of 16, I just trust that they know where this is going. You gotta trust the process.
I get it. It's different in that sense where I felt like there was a lot of mystery and stuff like that in the first season where there's not that much in this season so far.
Okay.
And then I will say the new guy, they need to flip him around as fast as possible.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, enough.
So are you ready to talk about?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm trying to hold on, let me see. Okay, I just want to make sure because I'm trying to remember what happened and when. I have notes, but in terms of what I was about to say. So
this picks up at the noodle shop.
Yeah. No. Well, I was gonna say something else.
Oh, okay.
So I had told you when we watched the first 2 episodes that I just had a theory that the firefighter was going to turn bad, right?
Right.
Or at least be tempted. And then when obviously they killed his wife and unborn baby, and then I was like, okay, yeah. But then I saw these promo photos for the season, and it was just character photos, and they had the villains, the 3 villains, Wong, Pil-gwang, and Gali, lit with a red light behind them, and the counters didn't have that. But the photo of the firefighter, his did. So I was like, it feels like they're trying to tell us something, right? Then I watched I think it's the network that it airs on in Korea. I think it's TVN. Their YouTube channel put out, the stuff like Netflix does, where it'll just have the cast interviews, or they'll have them play games and stuff like that. And they did a thing where it was the counters versus Team Counters versus Team Evil, and it had the cast playing games against each other, and they were in character though. They were calling each other by the character's name. The counters had on their sweatsuits, and the villains were in their hair, makeup, and everything. And on the team villain side was the firefighter. So I was like, okay, I think they're trying to tell something, and it's been confirmed in these episodes. He is being tempted to the dark side. Even before that, he was, he does some stuff in these episodes. And we'll talk about it when we get closer to the end, but I'm so curious as to where the hell this character is going. Because there's different ways that it could go. I'm real curious to see which way they go. Okay. So like you said, this episode picked up the episode 3 right when Pil-gwang had come into the noodle shop. And so what basically follows is just a mental dick measuring contest. Where
that's all it was.
Yeah. Pil-gwang is using his power, and it's he could shatter the windows and, destroy the building. And So-mun sits down opposite him and uses his powers to stop that.
He flipped that coin and he just bent the fucking coin so he could do it no more.
He was so he was flexing. So-mun is so strong. He really is. And the kids are there. We talked about that, right? He had the kid that they had rescued. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. From the abusive father and his mother, and then the kids that they had rescued on the bus in the first episode, they're all there eating. And at first, Hana and Miss Chu, they don't realize anything. But
right,
then
they're in the
Hana
back
gets, Hana gets the whole, her power kicks in, and she sees, that he walked in. And so basically, again, it's just a dick measuring contest, and it ends when Pil-gwang leaves voluntarily, but not before ominously pointing out that So-mun has a lot to protect. And this leaves both of them with bloody noses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except they didn't see
his bloody nose, right?
Right, until he was walking down the street.
Right. So Jusuk is the firefighter. He steals a fire truck from work and he uses it to ambush the transport that's taking the guy who killed his wife from the hospital to prison.
The guy who he thinks killed. Well, I
Right.
guess he did really kill.
Yeah. And while this is going on, Motok is doing that training session with Jeok-bong where you have to jump and put like your painted handprint on the wall, and we learned that he can't jump. Even to the point where Motok calls up to Yoon and he's like, "Are you sure?" And so then Motok gets the call about the stolen fire truck. So when he does that, when Jusuk ambushes the transport and he locks the cops out of the bus, he takes his fire axe and attempts to kill this guy. And the guy is even saying, like, he's like, "Why did you do it?" And the guy's like, "I don't know. Like, I don't remember. Like, I don't remember doing it. I don't know why I did it." And before he can kill him, Motok comes in and talks him down. And he doesn't kill him, and he's arrested, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna say this now because it wasn't like a big, like, I don't have like big notes on it, but later when he's in prison, someone visits him and he admits that he hates the fact that he hesitated and didn't, like, he hates the fact that he hesitated because he could have killed the guy, but he was like, he did that thing where he was like, "Why did you do it?" And he's just standing over him with the axe. And that's what gave Motok time to get there. And so he admits that you could just see the path he's going on, right? It gets worse later. Right. Okay. So, they have their last meal at the noodle shop because now that the enemy knows, where they live and operate, they can't stay there. So, we learned as they're having like their last noodles there, that So-mun's been off training by himself, like super hard, like his knuckles are all bloody and everything. So they move to their noodle.
So are they saying like even if they catch these three guys that they could never go back to this noodle shop? Evil spirits to tell all the other evil spirits where we work.
I don't know if I don't know. But it's interesting because, like, I do feel like this might be the last season. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like a last season kind of thing because So-mun is so strong. And again, K-dramas are typically one season, so the fact that this is two, but yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. But their new place is actually one of Mr. Choi, Jangmun, one of his facilities, and it's literally an IKEA.
Same colors and everything.
Yes, it is an IKEA.
The warehouse is the same. They're just
living. Yes,
they're just living in one of the bedroom areas.
And they clearly have a set to make it look like a warehouse, but it's an IKEA. Anyway, it's pretty lit though. They have this whole section to themselves. They each have their own, like, not each have their own. I think they said there's 4. I think Miss Chu gets her own. Or I don't know. There's 4 rooms, and I know that So-mun and Jeok-bong are sharing.
Right.
So I guess Hana.
Yeah, the rest of the 3 have their own.
Yeah, that's right. That makes sense. I don't know. I was
Sugar Daddy ain't living there. He got a mansion.
Yeah. Sugar Daddy. Stop calling him that. So, I mean, there's like a boxing ring, there's a jukebox, there's a kitchen. Like, again, they have their own office space and bedrooms. It's just amazing.
It looks like a clubhouse. Like, yeah. This is like some shit you'd see in those like 80s sitcoms, like
some rich kid, like Silver Spoon.
This is Silver Spoon.
This is Silver Spoon's house. Yeah.
His basement.
It's a little train that runs through the whole place. So Moon does this thing where he does like a surprise attack. He takes out a red marker and he runs across and he slashes each of them. And it's like, if that was a knife, you would be dead, right? Because, in the restaurant, when Pil-gwang, the villain, came in, one of the little girls, like a glass went to fall off the table and he caught it like from across the room. Like he rushed over and like you didn't even see him because that's how fast he moved. So Moon was saying that's how fast he is. And what I just did to you guys, like if he did that,
I think they're all fast like that.
Yeah.
As we said, the other girl in the reads, she was moving pretty fast too.
Yeah. Our counters are fast too.
Yeah.
So he's like, if he had attacked you like fat, like you'd be dead, except Hana. You notice that? Like he got Choi and Motak, Miss Chu and Motak across the neck. He got
Choi's. He's like, I survived.
Yeah, he got him right in the face. But Hana put her hand up.
Yep.
So they all train, and it's basically Moon against everybody, and he whips their asses, and he's like, okay, let's go rest. And Hana's like, no, I'm not done yet. This is not over until you knock me out. So she spars with him some more, and he's telling her, you can't use your eyes. Like if you depend on your eyes, you'll be too slow. You got to feel it. And she listens, and she ends up like getting the best of him. She uppercuts his ass like into the air, and he falls down, and she's like, yeah, I did it. And she hops on top and punches him 2 more times. And she's like, okay, now we can stop. I love her so much. So in prison, Jusuk is being fucked with by other inmates, and he beats the shit out of one of them, right? And when he goes back to his cell, he attempts to hang himself, and he apologizes to Minji. And it's at this point that an evil spirit comes in, claiming that he summoned him. And it appears to him like it looks like that eternal prison place that they send the spirits to, and it's crawling out of like that stuff. It looks like tar, and it appears to him as Minji, his dead wife, and it's like, if you accept me, like I can help you get revenge on the people that killed your family. And then there's this creepy effect where it shows like that tar covered hand clawing its way out of his eyeball, out of his eyelid. Ugh. I've never seen anything like that. I don't even know how they thought to do that.
So, yeah, it reminded me of like even with the ring and all that stuff.
So Hana is training with Jeok-bong. They've been running, and he's tired, and he runs off to get some ice cream, and she is stopped in front of this piano shop in school. And it turns out that it seems like through these quick little flashbacks that we got, that the guy who owns the place is an classmate of hers when she was in high school, and that he might have had a crush on her. Like they might have liked each other, it seems. And then when Jeok-bong returns with his ice cream, he starts smelling something really bad. So I didn't catch his name, but the guy that Hana went to school with, before they can really talk, this happens, and Jeok-bong starts to get sick, and the guy runs off to get him medicine. And while they're in the piano shop, Hana and Jeok-bong discover that the piano repair guy in the back is an evil spirit, and that's what Jeok-bong was smelling. So his ability, I guess, is the thing that's special about him is that he can actually smell them
anywhere they are. And that's because that was the thing, is that they can't find these new guys unless they're in their territory,
right?
But this guy's powers now can smell anybody outside of a territory,
right? They don't need the territory.
They can just drop around and say with his head out the window, where are they?
So they end up taking this spirit out, and they leave. The guy comes back, and they're gone, and he's like, what the fuck? And as they're talking about it at their new headquarters, Motak feels like, you could see he feels bad, and then later we see him like training and thinking about how that guy Wong like kicked his ass, like in the second episode. So he's feeling a little long in the tooth. He's been doing it for like 10 years. Because I don't know if we talked about this, but it has been like 2 to 3 years. 2 years since last season.
Right.
Yeah. So they end up following, they're at the headquarters and Jeok-bong smells something and they get in the cars and they head off to where he thinks that he smells these demons, right? And at first they go to like a farm, right?
Yes.
Like, and then he realizes that there are two. There's one in the reeds, right? In this
Right. And
field
then one in an
somewhere
art
attacking
museum.
someone. And then there's one in this like art museum. Right. So they just decide to split
They
up.
got that from the visions.
The vision.
Like his led him to that
with the
farm,
reeds,
but they're like,
and
there's
that
nothing
was
here.
they thought was like a level 3.
Right.
And they thought it was like a level 1 at the museum. So Motok is driving and he's gonna take Jeok-bong and Hana to the level 3. And then Choi and Chu are in another car. They're going to go to the museum to deal with the level 1, right? The rest of them are going to go deal with the level 3. But it turns out it's a trap. So prior to that, the villains had found this evil spirit.
2.
And what?
Didn't they have 2? They had 2 evil spirits.
Was it 2?
Well, that's how else would they know a level 3? Because
I just assumed it was her, that they had felt
her.
Kelly. But maybe you're right. Maybe it was another one. But it was
because I thought there was when they got to the reeds, there was a body on the ground, but that was supposed to be a level 3. Because that's why Moon and Motok went there.
Okay, so.
And there was a level 1 at the art museum, and I'm like, neither of those guys are level 1s.
So but we see them abduct one. We didn't see
at the gas station.
Right, the one at the gas station. So anyway, it's a trap, and Pil-gwang and Wong are at the museum and attack Choi and Chu. Wong does, right? Mm-hmm. And Miss Chu was going to absolutely fucking kill him. But Pil-gwang uses telekinesis to stop her. She has like the stab, right? The spear. And he is making her, using telekinesis, going to make her kill Mr. Choi.
Yep.
He's on the ground, her. Until Moon shows up.
I find it interesting that his psyche is doing, like, that's how he killed the firefighter's wife. He's using other people to kill. That's pure evil, but he's not doing it himself. And it's like when we watch a Taxi Driver and you have the CEO of that last thing, and it seemed like he was having his minions do everything for him. Yes. He wasn't out there hurting anybody. I mean, he was hurting people, but he wouldn't kill anybody. He'd make his other people like, mm-hmm. Here, shoot them.
Mm-hmm. True evil. So there's this big fight between So-mun and Pil-gwang, and it's just great. This is what I was talking about at the start of the podcast. Like, the choreography is great, especially here because they're both using their telekinesis powers, and fighting. But it's like clear that So-mun is stronger than him.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Choi and Chu are trying to leave, but Wong attacks again, and Chu has to fight him on her own. And then he's about to kill her, but Motok shows up. And then they take him on together.
Yep. Like old times.
And So-mun has Pil-gwang using his telekinesis power. He has him pinned against the wall, up in the air, spread out like Jesus. Mm-hmm. And he had done that to Moon before. But Moon started thinking about all the people. He started thinking about Minji and Jusuk and what, what happened to them, how this guy's responsible for killing her, and he, rallies through. So he has him pinned up against the wall, and he has him he had these ropes tied to his limbs, and he was stretching him, and it was so brutal. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but it felt like he could have just snapped him, just pulled his limbs off. Nico, get out of there. And it's like he has him dead to rights, but then for some reason, Mr. Choi comes crawling in, thinking he's going to help So-mun, and he just becomes a liability. And Pil-gwang uses his telekinesis to get a gun and shoot, but So-mun sees it's about to happen. He takes the bullet for him. Now, I'm going to tell you, I really thought Mr. Choi was going to die twice.
I think somebody in this team is going to die.
Because they keep saying, everyone's going to make it till the end. Everyone's going to make it till the end.
I think these are teasers. I think the one that's going to die is going to hit as hard. And I have a feeling it's Hana.
Don't say that. It might be So-mun.
No.
I don't know. You're terrible. Don't say that. At the Reeds, they are attacked by Hana, and Jeok-bong are attacked by Gelly. And Hana's trying to use his sense of smell because she's running at them, attacking from different angles.
Using her knuckles.
Yeah, her
spike knuckles.
And he can't, he's like, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, you don't watch it, but he's very much like Zenitsu in Demon Slayer in the beginning, where he's
just
so
a whiny bitch,
and he whines. Oh my god, yes. And it was getting on my nerves, and I was like, Haley, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this, this character. But then he rallies, and he's just a badass, and it's a thing to his powers, and so it's very similar to this character. But he was really getting on my nerves here. But eventually Hana uses the advice that So-mun had given her earlier about feeling it, and she punches Gelly. She makes Gelly punch her own self in the eye with the spiked knuckles that she has on, and it takes out her eye. It just damages her eye. She runs off.
But in this fight, the evil girl punches the other guy in the nose.
Yes, and he starts bleeding.
Powers, right. Yeah, he starts bleeding.
Can't smell anymore.
Can't smell nothing.
Right. Back at the headquarters, Choi is pissed because So-mun took a bullet for him, and he's like, I can die. You can't die. He goes, if you die, we all die. If I die, you guys go on. I was like, I don't know.
He's right, though.
But yeah, but that's what's making me think
there's nothing nobody can stop if Moon dies, these three are two evil people are gonna fucking they take all these the rest of them out, no problem.
This is why I feel I agree, but this is why I feel like it might be So-mun. I
don't know,
because they're stressing that, how he's the main character, and how he's so strong, and how he's the one. And I'm like, I don't know. And someone is like, yeah, okay, whatever, but I'm gonna do it again. I'm not gonna let any of y'all get shot if I can help it. And it's like, okay. And then there's just this really cute but weird scene. It's like we get a dance break. They lighten up, and because for some reason fucking Motok comes in with a tango album, and Miss Chu changes her clothes, and she and Mr. Choi get in the ring and tango. And it's just really cute.
Oh, did you talk about how that one of the evil guys is already gone?
Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, so
which I did not expect this early.
Yeah, Motok and Miss Chu exercise Wong.
Yeah.
He was only, what's that? 4 episodes?
3 episodes.
That
episodes. Was episode 4.
Yeah,
That's why I
4.
feel like this shit's moving too fast. And I'm like, okay.
Wow, yeah, that's right. Like I felt kind of like they didn't even the villains did not even react. Like they didn't even talk about it. They didn't, you know what I mean? Like they didn't act like they lost a team member afterwards. It's so funny. But yeah, they exercise him and you know what's interesting though? Um we don't see the demon that was in him, but oh, we did see the soul of the counter he killed.
Yes,
She talks
they
to Miss Choi. Miss Chu.
right.
I think it's Miss
She
Choi.
gets released and gets.
And I love this scene because she's speaking I'm not sure if it's like Chinese or Mandarin, but um Miss Chu is speaking Korean to her. And but they understand each other because they're speaking in Yung. And I just love that. I love that little touch. Like it doesn't need to be explained. It's just they can understand each other.
And she
Um,
doesn't, and it was interesting because she didn't know that the other two were like their souls were captive, and
she did. She I think she knew because she was like, "What about them?" And she was like, "We're gonna try our best to we're
okay,
gonna get them. We're gonna release them. We're gonna free them." So she didn't have to explain like they're dead, and you know. So I think she knew.
okay,
Yeah. Um. So speaking of the villains and the aftermath, Gelly, we see like her eye is it's not gone, but it's
it looked gone.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just it looks really bad. So
Yeah.
she has like these eye patches. They're white, but she takes a black marker and she draws on all of them, which explains her photo in the opening, the opening credits.
That's a weird
Um,
eye patch.
yeah,
When I saw that, I was like, "That's a weird eye patch."
it looks medicinal. Yeah, it looks medical,
Yeah, like
like
something
something
you
they
just
would
get
give
at the
you like a
drugstore.
temporary one. Yeah,
Not like a Nicholas or the
yeah. It's not
Nick
like Nick
Fury.
Fury. Um, so she's pissed, and Pil-gwang is in the tub, and he admits that Wong was right, that So-mun is stronger than him. And she gets pissed and she throws a glass at the wall by his head. And she's like, "So what? We just gonna run? We gonna?" And he uses telekinesis to slam her up against the wall. I won't let her go. He gets out the tub and he's like, "No, like then I definitely need to absorb his powers."
He did that shit with his dick swinging and all.
He is cut. You would not know that. I wonder if he always looked like that or if he got like that for this role. Because he does not look like this
It would,
in Wu.
but you can't. I don't think you can get there that like I mean, Wu was what a year ago, if that.
It was a year ago, but I'm sure they filmed it like probably during the pandemic, like after like
But I don't think this and that were filmed very far apart. Like I feel
no,
like
probably not. Yeah.
I feel like he's probably always been cut. We just so now go watch about Wu. It's like, God damn, I wonder if he's cut.
But no, I want to see him like like I have seen him in something else. As a matter of fact, he's so goofy in it though. He's super goofy in it. But he's in What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. He's like the buddy to Park Seo-joon from Itaewon Class.
He's got some
Anyway,
range, I'll tell you that.
yeah. Um. So Jeok-bong goes home. It's during the tango and all that stuff, and everybody's all happy that um So-mun realizes that Jeok-bong's not there, and he left a note, and he goes home, and he's like, "I'm just not cut out to be a counter, and I'm not going to do this."
Lost my
And his
powers. I can't.
yeah, I'm like, I'm not used to you. I'm used to you. So he goes home, and he's like, basically thinking, you know, I put in my resignation, they're going to accept it. And when they do, I'll just go back into a coma and die. Right. And because of that, um, oh, but his dad has like a loan that he took out. And to pay it back, he was thinking he might have to sell his cows. And at first, he's telling his dad, "No, you can't do that. Like the cows are like our family, right?" But then later, the counters show up to try to convince him to come back, and it doesn't work. And then after that, he tells his father, because he's accepted, like, this is just what I'm going to do. He tells his father, you should sell the cows, because his father thinks like he just has this job in Seoul, and that he's like home on leave or whatever. And his father, it just looks like he is giving up, I guess. And the father brings up the fact that I guess the village head has a son who's super successful, and bought him an apartment and all this stuff. And Jeok-bong is like, yeah, I bet you wish he was your son. So they have like this silly, like not silly, but they have a fight over this stuff. And it's while he is sitting out on the fields in the farm, feeling sorry for himself, that the father asks him to take some food to the village head. And when Jeok-bong does, he walks in on the village head's son trying to kill him, because it turns out the son is possessed by an evil spirit. And he was trying to get his dad to like sell some property for some money or something, and his dad wouldn't. He attacks him with a knife. So there's like this big fight, and they end up fighting like in cow manure. And Jeok-bong gets hit in the nose, and his power comes back. And he beats the shit out of this guy. Like, so
it felt like he got everything back. Like, it felt like, because he got strong then too, because he lifted.
Yeah,
like,
but okay, so I'm just so confused, because like, why wasn't he like this before? Like, why couldn't he jump if he had this power? Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
right. I wonder if
I don't know. Was it supposed to be like a confidence thing? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't know. I don't get it. Because at the same time, I don't know his name, but the person that he's attached to up in Jung feels when he's not even getting hurt. He's just like scared. When he first is like tussling with the guy and trying to get him to stop stabbing his father, he's not getting hurt or hit. He's just like pulling on him again, trying to get him not to stab his dad. And the other guy could feel it. He could feel his panic and all this stuff. And it's like depleting him. And the young boy, I think Yushik, I think is his name, who is connected to Hana, he comes in. And so it was just like this weird thing where they both fell face down. And then Jeok-bong lifted up his head, and the other guy and Jung did too. And it was like, I don't know. I have no idea how, like, I understand the smelling thing. Like, if you say like he hit his nose and it went away, so you hit his nose and it came back. But I don't understand why he was suddenly strong and able to fight in the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. And I'm trying to go remember from the first season on how, like, when Moon first, like, they were first training him and stuff like that. But I felt like his came on pretty, like, he learned pretty quick. He just didn't know how to.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like,
it.
Moon also, like, we didn't know Moon had like strength until, remember, in the bully.
Yes.
Tried to hit him
when he stopped it
in the gymnasium.
The gymnasium.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that, which is
right.
Fine,
That's that.
Like, but that was like the first thing, and then Moon started doing the other stuff like jumping high and all.
So I wonder if that's kind of similar to here. It's like they're like you have these powers in you, but you've got to figure out how to activate it. In a sense, like, and that was kind of like what happened to Moon. So hopefully the next episode, this motherfucker's like jumping the walls and shit.
So what happened? So by the time Hana and So-mun show up, because they were on their way to convince him to come back, he's already handled it, and they let him summon the evil spirit. So he does it for the first time. He connects with his partner in Jung, who turns out is only 21 years old. I was like, how? Right. But they get along now. So Gelly tells Pil-gwang that when she was fighting Hana, she touched her and she saw something. And I love that because they didn't show us, but like they did this like weird effect and it was like this sound. And when it happened, I said to you, I was like, she definitely saw something and that's going to come back later. I was scared that she saw their new hideout. But what it turns out is that she saw them when they were in the hospital crying when Minji was dying. And so they were like, she was like, her and the guy that you really want, So-mun, they know that woman.
Yep.
And that we killed in the elevator. And then she shows him on her phone how that woman's husband was arrested for trying to kill the guy they framed. So he's like, oh, this is interesting. So, meanwhile, that evil spirit is still in Choksu's head and trying to get him to like accept it. It's so weird because like
we've never seen this.
Yeah.
We've never seen this side of an
power person becomes an
evil spirit or anything like that because they were just like they were bad. Like every time we've seen them, they were most of them.
Right.
I think everything
See,
we saw. We've never seen.
I get that he made himself susceptible to that because that's the thing. Like if you think about the first season with that woman, she had already killed one of her husbands, right? She killed the one in the episode that we met her in. And then when she's talking to herself in the mirror and the spirit is talking to her, it says like, I've been here for a while. And it was like the more evil shit and bad shit she did, the stronger it got.
Right. That's what makes the levels higher.
Yes. So
that'd be the only one
like
that from
him, like the hate and stuff that he opened up his heart to, and then when he almost killed that guy and then about to kill himself, I think it just made him susceptible to it. But it's saying like you have to accept me. But here's the thing. Like, why you want to be inside of him while he's in prison? No, like you would think you would want him to get out, right?
Yeah, but it saved him from killing himself. But I get what you're saying.
But like, no, but when he's talking to his lawyer, the spirit is talking to him, making him crazy to the point where he's like, I'm like, if you want him to get out, like,
you would not.
What's the point of possessing somebody that's in prison, right? You're not going to be able to kill people and all the stuff you want to do. So it was just weird that he was basically, you're thinking, because he was going to, I think, his sentencing, right? Or he was having some sort of hearing. To the point where his mother was there and they were giving like personal statements. Like about what type of man he is. Motok testifies and all that. And he goes to be sentenced and then the villains walk in and they're watching from the back of the courtroom and they ask him how he feels about like what he did, and he says, if I could go back in time, I'd kill him this time. He says, I have remorse that I didn't kill him. And everybody's like, what? And the fucking Pil-gwang is in the back like, oh, this is interesting. I like him. See, but okay, so my thing is, like I said to you, I don't understand how this is going to work because
the only thing you do is break him out of prison, but then all of a sudden then you got like all the cops and I mean.
I was just about to say, there's like no hope for this man as a character outside of being possessed if that happens. But it feels like that's what's going to happen. It would have made more sense to me if he was released, right? Like on probation or something like that. But no, they're keeping him in prison, and it looks like those demons the bad guys are going to break him out. And I'm like, well, then that's it for this character. But what I don't understand, though, is he wants revenge on who killed his wife. These are the people that killed his wife.
Yes. And once he finds that out, it's really going to fuck him up.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Because he will find out.
Right. And I just don't understand, like, what they gain from, like, unless they lie to him.
Well, they are going to lie to him, but I think something's going to happen with the...
Because they want to use him to get to So-mun.
Right. And he doesn't know what Sun, Moon, and all them do, like what they are and all that stuff. And I think
So
that's
that,
what's causing the
yeah,
issues here. But once
yeah.
he finds out what they are and what they do, and
that's what's, and it's going to make it look like, yeah, they're probably going to lie to him a little bit. I don't know. Because I feel like the point is to turn him against them. No?
oh, definitely.
So.
What if he was to kill Hana and then get that vision of what happened to his wife?
Wait, what?
I said, what if he is the one that kills Hana, gets her power, and then then touches one of the others and sees what happened to his wife?
He's not going to kill Hana. Stop saying that. Anyway. All right. So that's it. Sorry, I have a bit of a sore throat and it's really kind of bugging me. So I'm going to end this now. But yeah, I'm super excited. I don't know, like I said before, where this is going to go. I'm curious about this guy from Hana's past. I really don't want any of the counters to die, but I definitely think one will. And like we just said, we don't really know how this is going to work with these villains now interested in Jusuk, who seems to be, if he hasn't already, about to, because he looked really evil after he said that and he looked over at Moon. Like he looked like a, do you know what I mean? Like it didn't look like his face. Like, and I was like, oh, he must have accepted it. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
was I don't know. I'll show it to you when we go to watch the next one. So yeah, I'm just curious to see exactly what happened there and how that plays into the villain's plans. Because right now it feels like the only way he would align with him is if he does not know what they did to his wife. But the other thing is, once the spirit takes over, really it's just the spirit in control. The spirit doesn't give a fuck about his wife.
Right.
You know? So I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back later this week with Silo and Sweet Tooth and Foundation with Sarah. Kaylee and I have more Bungo Stray Dogs in the works for you guys, as well as more Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And in the next 2 weeks, we are adding some shows to the roster, including the Ahsoka series that is debuting on Disney Plus and a new K-drama that debuts on my birthday, August 18th, called Mask Girl. So a lot of good stuff in the works. Hope you stay subscribed. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll talk to you next time.